Hey, fifth grade, Mrs. Fondra here. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about colors, space, and positive and negative space. All right, so we got a couple big ideas going on here. To start, let me just show you what our project is going to look like. It's going to be a little different than this, but similar enough. Right? It's going to be a lot of paper cutting, gluing today. This is a collage, and we're going to be talking about positive and negative space. So for this example, I used blue, negative, around your subject, which is the orange paper in this case. All right. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be cutting out shapes and showing off the negative space that could be there. So for example, a very simple one is a square. If I cut out a square from my positive space, it would be blue. But then if we take that square and we kind of flip it, show where it would go, or like what's behind that piece. All right. So when I'm grading these, I'm looking for a couple of things. Number one, if you can use a few different shapes that are really unique that I may have never seen before. Like this one just kind of looks like almost like a ghost almost, or like something more than square, maybe some lumpy shapes, maybe some wavy shapes, something a little bit more unique versus just like square, triangle. Push to the next level. All right. So I'm looking for different types of cutting to practice those kind of shapes. And the other thing I'm looking for, you can see a few of them, especially this one. I made it positive and negative by cutting it up a few times. So first I cut out a shape here, which I glued above it, but then I cut out another shape and glued it back in. And then I cut out another shape and glued it up here. So I'm going to look for some flip-flop shapes is what I'm going to call those, flip-flop shapes. All right. So it'd be nice if you could cut out at least 10 things, but that seems like a lot. So let's just count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that counts as 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 in this one. Okay. So and I'll tell you the ones that you do more flip-flopping, it's a little more interesting to look at than just like a square, right? Okay. And we're done with that. So, another thing I want to talk to you about besides positive and negative space is the colors I picked. If you notice, these are very kind of opposite colors from each other. They don't really get along very well when you look at it. It might make you a little dizzy. And that's because those are called complementary colors. It's not like, oh, you're looking fabulous today. Thank you. That's a compliment. But this type of complementary colors are actually colors that are opposite from each other on the color wheel. Okay. So like I said, I used blue and orange. They are literally the furthest away that they can be from each other. Okay. They're super far away. The other two main options you might want to try are purple and yellow, opposites, and green and red. All right. If you don't have colored paper or you don't have complementary colored paper, I'm okay if you just have like white paper and another color, just so you can see the difference. If you need some other colored paper, please let me know. I'd be happy to get you some. Or I'm sure you could actually use like a paper bag from the grocery store, or some, like you could use wrapping paper. I don't know, like whatever you have will make it work. All right. So I'm going to show you how I did this. So you're going to need scissors, at least 2 different colors of paper, and a pencil could be helpful. All right. So let me switch my camera over here to talk about how I did this. All right. I won't show you the whole thing because that's a lot of cutting. All right. Oh, I should mention you should need glue, right? Glue will help you stick together. All right. So for mine, I'm going with the color red and green. I know on my camera it looks kind of orange. I'm sorry. Cameras are not the best for capturing the real color of things, but whatever shape you have in the middle should be pretty small compared to the rest of it. Okay. I found when I was doing them this sized, this is 9 inches and the big paper is 12 inches. A lot of people had a problem keeping their pieces on the paper. All right. So I decided I'm going to go even smaller. So I still have a 12-inch piece for the background, but I only have a 6. So that's half the size. All right. So some people are really good about just cutting out shapes and calling it good. I kind of like to draw and plan mine out. So maybe I'm like, okay, I'm going to do triangle here. I'm going to draw it with a pencil. And you know what? Why don't I draw it with a Sharpie so you can see, right? Triangle here. And maybe I'm going to say this is going to be one of my funky positive and negative space. So I'm going to cut another thing out. Why don't I do like a zigzag here? Something different, all right? Maybe I'll do a circle-ish shape, like a hill. And then maybe I'll do like another hill inside of it. Okay, I'm trying to look for unique or weird shapes that normally you would never draw. So this is gonna just kind of keep you busy. Thinking about new ways to draw lines. All right, I'm gonna do, maybe I could do a kind of like a trapezoid shape, and I'm gonna keep that one normal. So come up with things where you can cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shapes so far, and come up with where you can cut 10 different things. Okay, I'm gonna kind of do a weird, I'm gonna keep doing weird ones because why not? Keeps it fun. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do a heart that's half and half. Look at that. It's gonna be a heart on this at 8. And let's do 9. And we'll cut this one out to 10. All right, I did some funky stuff, and that's what I'm looking for. All right. So when you cut these out, it's really important. Don't lose your pieces. You should have 0 scraps. 0. Okay. So when you're cutting these out, make sure you kind of keep them where they should go. All right. Just so I don't waste everyone's time by cutting all of these out, I'm going to just work on this one. All right. So when you're cutting, just really take your time. I am making sure when I'm grading these, you are being thoughtful with cutting. So don't go all jaggedy and get all crazy. If you need a scissors, I am happy to lend you one of those as well. I personally, if I was doing this, would not use Sharpie because it will show up if you don't quite get it all. So a pencil lightly is good too. All right. So I'm cutting these shapes out. Kind of looks like a starburst almost. I just add an extra little zigzaggy in there. That's cool. All right. So if you have something like this where you have 2 pieces you cut out from one area, what you're going to end up doing, pause this for a second. When you put this on your paper, you're going to say, okay, this piece was here. So I'm going to perfectly flip it to be right here. Okay, that's where that one's going to end up getting glued. This shape, I can say, okay, let me see. Oh, that fit right there. That was up that part of the puzzle. So I'm going to flip this one back in. Okay. So like I said, if you use Sharpie, it's going to be seen and it's not going to look very sharp or very nice if you do that. So use a pencil so you can erase some parts. All right. You could use a glue stick or some liquid glue. Whatever you have at home would be great to keep them all in their place. So when you're done, you're going to have all these cut out and flip back and forth depending on how many pieces you cut out. Okay. So when you're all done, I am grading these, so you'll be submitting these to Art Sonia. So click on that link and talk a little bit about them. Some good vocab for these are probably space, as we talked about positive and negative space, so maybe mention that. And maybe talk about the colors. If you use complementary, those opposite colors, maybe mention that, or maybe tell me what colors you did use so I know you know some colors. All right. So like I said, please submit these online. I will grade them as soon as you turn them in. Maybe make sure you attach something though, right? Sometimes people say they're done and they didn't actually do it. So make sure you turn this in before you click submit or turn it in on your Google Classroom. All right. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. Be happy to help you out however I can. All right. Happy grading.